Hello everyone, my name's Adele. I'm Adele Di Casso, and I'm really excited to be speaking to you this month on the topic of mindfulness. It's something that I'm really passionate about, so I'm very grateful for Anne-Marie asking me to talk about this topic with you. I'm going to share a few things with you. I'm going to talk about what mindfulness means to me, how I incorporate it into my daily routine, a few other tips for you, share a few resources. But first of all, I thought I'd just share a little bit about who I am so that you know who's talking to you. So, like I say, I'm Adele. I'm a mum of 3 grown-up children now. The youngest one is 16, married to Jamie. We've been in the network marketing industry for years, like over 25 years. But I also have a couple of other businesses. One is a Dachshund hotel, so I look after Dachshunds in my home with my daughter. We just specify that we only look after small Dachshunds because obviously it's something that the owners like. They like their dogs to mix with other dogs of a similar size. So we just stick to the same breed. So that's a lot of fun. We're also starting to sort of expand that now and reach out. My daughter does dog walking, dog sitting, other pet sitting, and we've also, we're starting to do a bit of work for other companies now where, pet related companies, so that's quite interesting. So that's all good fun. And then my third sort of business that I run is a personal development business where I talk about, I'm passionate about personal growth and development, and I talk about that, and I specialise in teaching shy people because I'm a shy, quiet person, so I specialise in teaching other shy, quiet people how they can be successful in business or in life, whatever it is that that they're after. So yes, it's a varied mix, but it's really interesting. No day is the same, so I absolutely love it. So this is one of my favourite things to do, talking about, mindfulness is part of personal growth. It really does, have a massive impact on our lives. If we can be more mindful, then it's only going to benefit us. It really is. So yeah, first of all then, what does mindfulness mean? It's simply being aware and being present in the moment. That's how I see it anyway. It's sort of putting your whole self into the situation, whatever situation that you're in. When you're mindful, you're just noticing things, you're very aware, like I said, and you're just really present, and you're not you're focusing on the situation in hand. You're not, your mind isn't wandering on other topics, on other subjects, or thinking about what you've got to do later. It's a way of bringing, grounding yourself and bringing yourself back and just appreciating the moment. So that's how I see mindfulness. You will hear a lot of different explanations and descriptions about it, I'm sure, because it does means different things to different people, but that's what I see. I see it's a way of slowing down and just like I say, appreciating the moment and just getting the most out of every moment, because I think our lives whiz by, don't they? Things happen so fast. Everything's instant these days, and we just need to slow ourselves down, I think, sometimes, and just appreciate more. So I'm going to share, what I do to be mindful, and there's lots of things, and they're all really enjoyable things, which makes it, very easy. It's just a matter of getting into a little routine for yourself. So I have a daily routine. I'm actually away at the moment on holiday, so my routine has changed slightly over here, but I'll talk about, my daily routine that I have when I'm at home, and it's and now it's the summer holidays as well, so things are a little bit different again. But when it's a school day, or come September when I'm taking my son to college instead of school, this is what I would do on a normal day. So when the alarm goes off, I switch off the alarm, and first of all, the alarm isn't an annoying buzz. It's a tune that I like. It's something that is nice to wake up to. So that's the first thing I do. And then the second thing I do is I don't then pick up my phone. I just leave it on the side, and then I'll go into the bathroom, I'll brush my teeth, and I look through my affirmations while I'm brushing my teeth. and doing all, I obviously get ready, and while I'm getting ready, I'm listening then to something, either a YouTube video or a podcast or something that's going to make me feel good, going to make me feel happy. So, there's loads of things on YouTube you can listen to. Like you could even listen to some sort of like meditation to start off the day, or something like that. So I'm doing that while I'm getting ready. Then I'll take my son to school, and on the way back I'll put in another something else onto the stereo. So it's on my way back from school, I tend to listen to an Esther Hicks YouTube video. So it's talking about the law of attraction, but it does I think you've got to find something that you love listening to. I love listening to her, so I'll put that in and I'll listen to her on the way back from school. And by the time I get back then, I'm in such a good, vibration that I'm ready for the day. So I'll go into the house, and the first thing I do when I get back home, I don't have breakfast. I will get out my yoga mat and I'll do a yoga session for about 15-20 minutes. And I just find yoga is something, again, which it's really slow paced. It's not, full on exercise that's, any cardio or anything like that. It's really slow paced, but it's still very beneficial. That's why I love yoga. And also when you do yoga, you're focusing on your breathing a lot. So again, it's twofold. I mean, you've got the benefit of the stretching, but you've also got the benefit of the breathing. And again, breathing is something that you can always turn to slow yourself down at any moment of the day. So I just love that about yoga. So I'll do the yoga, and then I tend to read from something for about 10 minutes after that. So just a really good book, something to do with personal development, something that I'm focusing on at that moment in time. I'll read from a book. And then I get out my journal and I start writing down in my journal. So this is my journal. I've brought it with me on holiday, and I've been using it here as well. So I'll write down, these are the things, if you're struggling, when you're writing in a journal, these are the things that I would start off with. 3 things that you're grateful for. 3 or, well, as many things as you want, really. It doesn't have to be 3, but 3 things that make you feel abundant. What has happened in your life in the last day or so that's made you feel abundant, or it can be little things like somebody might have paid you a compliment, or it could be that you found £5 on the floor, or anything like that. Just write these things down. If you had like in my network marketing business, let's say I had a customer that ordered online, that would go on the list as well. That's something that would make me feel abundant. So anything like that, write them down in a list. And then after that, I've just recently started writing down, because I saw it on an Instagram video. A lady was talking about being excited for things that were coming. So I write down 3 things that I'm excited about as well. So that it's been working really well, actually. And then I also write down affirmations. So I'll write down my favourite affirmation, which is everything is always working out for me. And sometimes I'll write it out like 5 to 10 times. It just makes me feel good. And when you're writing, there's something about writing in an actual book with a physical, a pen and paper. It makes you sort of be in the moment more than if you were writing on a computer, I do feel. I don't know whether any of you agree with me on that one, but it does feel more, I don't know, it just feels better to write in an actual book sometimes. And I love my gratitude journal, so I take it everywhere with me. So yeah, affirmations. And then sometimes I'll just write down how I'm feeling, sometimes I'll want to write down and get out onto paper if I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I find that it really helps to write everything down, and then it doesn't seem as much when it's on paper. Sometimes it's because I'm writing down that I'm feeling really good, and I'm really excited, and I'm really finding that I'm in a positive flow, and it's just lovely to write these things down, because after a while you can come back and read them again, and it's always nice to read through what you've written. I feel like you get most out of it at that point when you're actually reading it back to yourself. So yes, what else do I do in my morning routine? So there's the yoga, the reading, the writing down in my gratitude book, and then the most important part is the meditation. I love meditation, and I know that some people think it's a little bit, out there, or maybe a little bit complicated, and they don't really know how to do it, but it's just so simple. I love meditation. It's simply just sitting and focusing on your breathing, or focusing on something. Esther Hicks always talks about focusing on the air conditioning unit. Obviously, we don't have air conditioning in the UK. I've actually got it here while I'm away, so I can use that one while I'm here. But just focus on something, or pick something out. Like even if you're outside, listen to the birds singing or something like that. But just literally relax, close your eyes, sit there for 10 to 15 minutes, or maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You don't have to do too long straight away. You can start off small. But just bring yourself to the present moment and focus on your breathing, and it really, really, really will help you. And there's so many benefits of meditation, and I'll talk about that a little bit later when I talk about the benefits of mindfulness in general. But meditation has so many benefits, and I've definitely seen a massive shift since I started doing it. It just makes you feel good in the moment. It makes you feel good for the rest of the day, and anything that you then bring yourself to, you're bringing a better you to that situation, if that makes sense. So that's my morning routine. I then go and have my breakfast, and when I'm eating my breakfast as well, this is really difficult, but I try not to look at my phone. I try and have my breakfast and my coffee without looking at my phone, because we can get distracted, and before we know it, we've finished our breakfast or whatever meal it is that we're eating, because we've been focusing on reading something, scrolling through Facebook or something, and it's really not good for us. We need to savor every moment of enjoying a meal or a drink, and just appreciate what it is that we're having. So I really try, and I do find it difficult, because sometimes, having done all that routine, which sometimes takes me anything from 40 minutes to an hour, you can be itching to see if you've got any messages or if anybody needs you. So it is really hard not to look at the phone while you're having breakfast, but it is something that I'm getting better and better at, and appreciating more and more. So that's my morning routine. Some of the things I was thinking of that actually are mindful things to do, that I like to do, and one of them is just watching people. I just love nothing more than sitting in a cafe or something outside and watching people go by. And I think you're just in the moment then. You're just sort of watching what's going on, and you're not really distracted with anything. You're just sort of enjoying, watching people go by. So I love doing that. I think listening to music is a good one. I think when you listen to music, especially music that you love, it makes you feel good, and it brings you to that moment. I also believe in immersing yourself in doing things that you love to do as much as you can, every day, if you can. Because when you immerse yourself into something, again, you're generally, present, because you enjoy it so much. You're present in the moment, and it, doing these things puts you into the zone. And I like to say that I'm in the vortex, because that's a phrase that Esther Hicks uses. When you're in the vortex or in the zone, you can tell that you're vibrating on a higher level, and you start to attract more and more good things into your life. So all these things, they're stopping the distraction. So I think that's a key point of mindfulness. It's being in the moment so that you're not distracted by other things that that you've got happening later in the day or later that week, or whenever. It's bringing you to the moment so that you can completely focus on that moment and not worry about things that are coming up. And when you quieten your mind like this, you're the most connected to your true self. So, when we're running around and we're busy, and we're doing all these things, time is flying by, we're not really our true selves. But when we quieten our minds and we get, we relax and we take some time to just enjoy ourselves, that's when we're most connected to our higher self. And when we're most connected to our higher self and true self, we will perform and and create in a much better way. We will create our best things. So I love that. That we can. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? That by slowing down and quietening down, that we can actually achieve more and better things. But that's just the way it is. So a couple of other things I wanted to talk about were being mindful how you treat yourself, because we're all guilty of this. We don't talk to ourselves in the best way sometimes, and this is, again, something that takes a lot of practice. But we can be quite cruel to ourselves, and we have to just take a step back sometimes and think, would I treat my best friend like that, or a member of my family like that? And the answer is no. So don't treat yourself like that. So be mindful how you're talking to yourself and how you're treating yourself. And something I've learned, been learning about recently, which is part of this, like a mastermind that I'm part of, is that it's about putting yourself first and saying yes. The actual mastermind is called Say Yes to Desire. And it means that we treat ourselves well. We say yes to things that we want. We don't, always put ourselves last and make sure everybody else is okay first. We look after ourselves, because if you look after yourself, then you're more used to other people anyway, in the long run. So it's been, mindful of how you treat yourself and making sure that you look after yourself and give yourself the time to, do the things that you want to do, and treat yourself now and again, reward yourself. Because when you do this, you are going to be more effective in everything that you do. The second thing is to be mindful of not how you treat yourself, but mindful of your thoughts that you're thinking. And every time, you catch yourself thinking something negative, you want to, snap yourself out of that. And I read a book years ago, one of the first books I ever read, called The 1 Minute Millionaire. And there was an exercise in there that was all about, you had to put an elastic band around your wrist. And if ever you caught yourself saying something negative to yourself, you had to snap the elastic band. And, believe me, that hurts. So you don't do it very many times before you learn to stop being critical or having negative thoughts going through your head. So that was another one. Again, it's all about being mindful in the activities that we're doing, but also mindful of how, just become aware of what you're thinking. And if you think you might struggle with this, you can just set yourself an alarm at various points throughout the day. And when the alarm goes off, just think, right, how was I acting in that moment? Was I being nice to myself, or was I being, a bit cruel to myself? And just, if you keep doing that, you'll find that you won't need the alarm after a while. You'll just become better at becoming aware of how you're feeling throughout the day. So what happens when you use all these mindfulness practices, and when you start to learn to become aware, you'll have a better sense of focus. It will help you in lots of different areas. You'll be better focused, you'll produce, better things, and things will seem a lot less effort. And again, it seems too good to be true, but it isn't. When you follow the path of least resistance, which is, what mindfulness is all about, it's going with the flow, it's following the path of least resistance, doing the thing that feels the best thing to do, like taking the path that feels most fun or most rewarding or most easy to you. When you follow that path and you're mindful, then everything works out better. You know, you go in with the flow. There's no, it's like, if you imagine, this is how I was sort of, I came to understand it. If you imagine a cork bobbing up and down on the water, when you push that cork under, you know, you're having to hold it down, it's taking energy. But when you let it just bob up to the surface, then it's, you know, it's easy, it's no effort. And that's what we're like. You know, we're constantly pushing ourselves underwater and making things difficult for ourselves. So if we can just, you know, release and relax and let go and follow the path of least resistance, then life will be so much easier. And it all comes down to mindfulness and just being aware. Now, I wanted to recommend a book here because it's a book I've been reading probably for the last, I think I first read it about 2 years ago. And the first time I read it, I didn't quite grasp it. But I've read it again since this past year, and I feel like it's the best book I've ever read. And it's called The Greatest Secret, and it's by Rhonda Byrne. So you might have heard of The Secret, which was the first book that Rhonda Byrne wrote back in, I think it was 2005, because I remember it because we were at a conference in Birmingham and a guy stood on the stage and said, "The secret, you know, it'll change your life." And I got a copy of the film. We were just about to go to Spain for 9 months with the family, and I bought the film and I took it with us and I watched it when I got there, and oh my goodness, did it, you know, have an impact, and it did change my life. You know, so many benefits have come from that film. But the lady who put that film together and created that film has now she's written lots of books since. She's written a book on gratitude. She's written several books, but this latest one, which is called The Greatest Secret, is all about awareness. It's all about, you know, stopping ourselves from getting distracted and tied up in our thoughts. And it's about, you know, becoming aware of who you really are. So it's quite spiritual, but it really is, you know, a really great read. And you might, like I say, like I did, you might have to read it a few times to grasp it properly. But it is one of the best books I've ever read, and it just makes so much sense. And I find that I've found myself, you know, getting other books because of that. Like other people that have been quoted in that book, I've then sort of followed their, you know, books now, and I'm reading those as well. So it's led me down a whole path of really exciting stuff, which is all to do with becoming aware and being present in the moment, which is all, you know, to do with mindfulness. And you'll have different, you know, things that work for you. Not everybody's going to, you know, love doing yoga and meditation and reading like I do. I do feel like myself and Anne-Marie will have quite an overlap of things that we talk about this month, because I know me and her are very on a similar wavelength, and we do like the same stuff, so probably will overlap a little bit. But there is lots of other things, you know, that you can do to be mindful. So not everybody, it won't be everybody's cup of tea, you know, what I've been talking about today, but it's just to give you an idea of, you know, what sort of things are gonna, you know, work in helping you to become more mindful. So I hope that's helped. If anybody has any questions, I think I'm going to be part of the group, so I can answer your questions if you have any. You know, don't hesitate in asking if there's anything I've talked about that you're not sure of. But yeah, I've really loved talking to you in this session. I hope you've enjoyed it too, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.